Deadliest Catch crew worried Russia fired a missile at them. The cast of Deadliest Catch knows they put their lives in danger every day in their line of work. However, they never expected an encounter with another ship would result in a missile possibly launched against them. That is what happened on Tuesday night's episode of the Discovery Channel reality show. On Tuesday night's Deadliest Catch episode, Operation Anvil Drop, Captain Keith Colburn of the Wizard recruited Captain Jonathan Hillstrand of the Time Bandit to intercept a Russian trawler fishing illegally in U.S. waters. However, the situation intensified when the Time Bandit's crew spotted a missile streaking across their position. This caused a bit of panic, but a funny end to the incident. Before the alleged missile launch, the Wizard had an incident with a Russian fishing vessel in U.S. waters, which endangered the Wizard's fishing gear. The Time Bandit arrived to enforce the U.S. claim to the fishing grounds and sent the Russian boat packing. However, what happened next was frightening. One member of the Time Bandit looked into the sky and pointed out what looked like a missile fired from Russia. "Did Russia shoot a missile, dude?" Hillstrand asked. One deckhand yelled that, "It's coming right for us, Captain." That was a little panicked, as the missile wasn't aimed at them, if it was a missile at all. No one was sure what the streak headed into the sky was, but it posed no danger to the fishing boats. That led to Captain Colburn delivering the line of the episode when he exclaimed, "I'll tell you what, I'm not giving away our fishing grounds. So bring it on, Russia." Time Bandit and Wizard, Team USA. One thing that Deadliest Catch fans know is that the show's title is not a misnomer. This is a reality TV series that is as dangerous as advertised. The Discovery series is a filmed record of everyday life in a stressful working environment, and it shows the real dangers of commercial fishing. The show reveals that the fatality rate of this occupation is higher than pilots and loggers, with the highest fatality rate of any job at 141.7 deaths per 100,000 people. The dangers come with severe weather, frigid gates, rogue waves, working with heavy machinery, and a constantly rolling boat deck. This means the series offers a powerful look at the people who take on these jobs and their unwillingness to accept anything but the best of their fellow fishermen. This makes it one of television's most watched reality TV series. However, as dangerous as the fishing conditions are, no one could have expected a Russian missile attack on a fishing boat. Luckily, it all ended well, but it proves that on Deadliest Catch, anything can happen. Sean S. Lilos has been a freelance writer for over 25 years and is a voting member of the Oklahoma Film Critics Circle. He is also a published author with a book about the Stephen King dollar baby filmmakers. Deadliest Catch crew worried Russia fired a missile at them. In the world of reality television, there are few shows as intense and captivating as Deadliest Catch. The show follows the perilous lives of Alaskan crab fishermen who brave treacherous seas to harvest some of the most coveted seafood in the world. Each episode is a window into the danger, camaraderie, and resilience required to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. But while the deadly waves and frozen waters off the coast of Alaska are usually the crew's biggest concern, in one extraordinary moment, the crew of a Deadliest Catch ship found themselves facing a threat far beyond the wild seas, a potential missile strike. The incident occurred in the spring of 2022, as the Deadliest Catch fleet was out on the Bering Sea, harvesting king crab during the annual crab season. While the men and women aboard these ships have seen their fair share of peril, nothing could have prepared them for the terrifying moment when they feared they were in the crosshairs of international conflict. A tense time for the Bering Sea fleet. The year 2022 was one of heightened geopolitical tension. In February, Russia invaded Ukraine, causing global shockwaves and prompting nations across the world to take sides. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine quickly escalated into a full-blown war, drawing in countries from all corners of the globe. The Bering Sea, where Deadliest Catch is filmed, lies close to Russia's far eastern borders, an area that has long been an uneasy geopolitical flashpoint. As the crab fleet set out for another dangerous season on the icy waters, they had no way of knowing that the international climate would soon take a dramatic turn. Tensions between the West and Russia were reaching a boiling point, and the Bering Sea, an area largely isolated from global politics, suddenly became a stage for unexpected fears. A sudden and alarming incident one evening during their usual long shifts in the frigid night, the crew aboard the F/V Wizard something they couldn't immediately explain. The sky above them suddenly lit up in a blinding flash. According to the crew, it appeared as if a rocket or missile had been fired toward the ship, lighting up the sky in an eerie, unnatural glow. The first officer on deck, visibly shaken, began to shout orders to the rest of the crew, instructing them to brace for possible impact. The tension was palpable. The crew knew the stakes in the Bering Sea. A man overboard, an overturned boat, or a mechanical failure could lead to disaster at any moment. But this was different. This wasn't a rogue wave or an ice-locked winch. This was something that suggested the world beyond the waves had intruded upon their isolated, dangerous world. I thought maybe it was just some kind of military test or a fireball from a plane, but the shape and trajectory looked like something else entirely, said one of the crew members during an interview after the event. It felt like we were caught in a war zone. Despite their best efforts, the crew couldn't immediately contact any authority or understand what was happening. Communications with the outside world were limited. The ship was miles away from land, and the satellite communication system was struggling to pick up signals due to interference from the strange event. Russia's military presence in the Arctic. While this may sound like a bizarre and unsettling moment, the reality is that the Bering Sea is not an entirely benign place when it comes to international politics. Russia, in particular, has been increasing its military activity in the Arctic in recent years. The Russian government views the Arctic as a strategic region, both for its rich natural resources and as a crucial gateway for naval forces. Tensions over territorial claims, military drills, and Arctic sovereignty have escalated, making the remote waters of the Bering Sea a potential hotspot for international conflict. In addition to military exercises, Russia has long maintained a significant presence in the region, with warships and air forces frequently conducting operations near the Aleutian Islands. The Bering Sea is a critical waterway for both U.S. and Russian interests, so it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility that military activities could impact civilian vessels, especially if there were a miscommunication or a mistake in targeting. In the specific case of the Wizard, some of the crew speculated that what they witnessed might have been a missile or some sort of military launch. The sudden flash and the apparent trajectory of the object made them think it could have been a test missile or a rocket fired from a Russian submarine or military vessel operating in the region. With the war in Ukraine and the broader military mobilization taking place, the presence of high-stakes military operations close to their fishing grounds suddenly felt very real. Concerns about military activity in civilian areas. While the crew of the Wizard didn't ultimately suffer any damage or direct danger, the incident raised serious concerns about the safety of civilian vessels in contested areas. The Bering Sea, though far from any formal battlefields, is increasingly being viewed through the lens of international military strategy. And with the Russian military conducting more frequent drills and tests in the region, the risk to non-military vessels like crab boats and fishing trawlers becomes a legitimate concern. This concern is compounded by the fact that these fishermen, who are often working in near isolation for weeks at a time, aren't equipped to respond to or defend against military threats. The high seas are already a place of extraordinary danger, with freezing temperatures, dangerous ice floes, and unpredictable storms that can wipe out a vessel in seconds. The thought that a missile or missile test could be launched in the area is a terrifying prospect for any fisherman who makes their living in these treacherous waters. An official response in the wake of the incident, there were a series of investigations into what had actually occurred. Authorities from the U.S. Coast Guard and military agencies were contacted, though the remote nature of the location made it difficult to gather immediate intelligence. Some experts believe the crew might have witnessed a missile test that either went awry or was misdirected. Others speculate that it was simply a flare or some other kind of signal used by Russian forces in the region for training exercises or military drills. Whatever the cause, the crew aboard the Wizard was left with a deep sense of unease. "We were just out here doing our jobs, trying to catch crabs, and suddenly we're in the middle of a geopolitical situation," said another crew member. "It's a reminder that there's always danger on these waters, even if it's not the kind we're used to." Lessons learned for the crew of the Wizard and other Deadliest catch vessels. The event was a stark reminder of the